The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.
Not a lawyer,
for
but I
control.
finally got around to reading the full 81-page lawsuit that Drake has filed against UMG, and in it, he gives 3 reasons as to why he's suing UMG and not Kendrick Lamar. So let me give you the recap, and it really comes down to money. First, early in the lawsuit, Drake makes it clear that, quote, this lawsuit is not about the artists who created Not Like Us. It is instead entirely about UMG, the music company that decided to publish, promote, exploit, and monetize allegations that it understood were not only false, but dangerous. It goes on to say very explicitly that Drake is not a pedophile. Drake has never engaged in any acts that would require he be, quote, placed on neighborhood watch.
That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch.
Drake has never engaged in relations with a minor.
A minor.
Drake has never been charged with or convicted of any criminal acts whatsoever. And so, as a company that published, promoted, exploited, and monetized, Drake says he wants UMG. All right, so reason number 1 as to why Drake is suing UMG is because he says one of their motivations for promoting and making Not Like Us a success was to damage his popularity, so that when it came.
So this is like, we talked about this the other day, but I'm going to bring it up again. The etymology, and you should look this up, the etymology of the word contract means to tighten or draw together or simply make smaller. So Drake signing this contract with the hopes and dreams to be the biggest star in the world, it is not working out as he planned. And just talking about it just made me think about this experience that I've documented on this channel when it happened. I don't know when or what, too many videos to really pinpoint when I actually documented it, but if I had to, I would find it. But, anyways, Drake is an occultist and a metaphysician. And one of his books, like one of his places that he likes to come for metaphysical books, is a place in Michigan, not too far from where I live in the town of Berkeley, called the Aquarium Bookstore. I went into the store. It's only open Wednesday, Saturday, and Friday. A old man, he owns the store, thousands of books just scattered all around, all metaphysical books, right? And I just was going there. I just was going there to, like, look at books and shit. So me and my wife, we go find some books we want to buy. And at first he's like, the store is closing. The store is closing. Like, we came there 10 minutes before closing. He might have said it 4 times, more or less, rushing us out the store, only for us to get to the checkout. We about to check out. He ringing us up. We making light banter, blah, blah, blah. Then he just stopped everything. And he like, man, I want to tell you about something. And we're like, okay, what you want to tell us about? He like, I want to tell you, you know who Drake is? Me and my wife like, yeah, we know who Drake. We know who Drake is or whatever. Da, da, da. So he just go yapping about Drake, telling me how he'll come there with his homies and they'll have 5 different big gym bags full of books. And at first, I felt like he was lying because he didn't really know who Drake was, but his experience, you could kind of tell he was like seeing like this dude is like different. This dude bought $50,000 worth of books. You know what I mean? He getting all of this shit for real. But then The reason that I know that this is all true and all facts, and there's no way you cannot make this shit up, is because he goes into how Drake was about to leave, and Drake looks up and sees a dictionary that's basically priceless about liquor and spirits. And Drake gets it. He's like, I gotta have this book. And he opens up the book to his farm, Drake's farm, where Drake have a liquor company. Little known fact. But this story and this little known fact, I had to Google it. Lo and behold, Drake have a farm in Virginia. Same story that the man said. Now, this man would have had to look up Drake, his liquor company, and be like, all right, when Kyrie come here, I'ma just lie to him about Drake. At a certain point, that makes zero sense to me. The only thing that makes sense is that this actually happened. And the story about Drake is that he is a metaphysician and an occultist before he is a rapper. So what you can learn from Drake is magic and occultism and Jewish mysticism and the Kabbalah. What is the Kabbalah? The Kabbalah means to receive. So Drake basically is signed to a contract with a lot of different entities that don't have his best interests at heart. Because as you can see, they can turn Kendrick Lamar into the biggest pop star the world has ever seen with a push of a button. So let's get into how they made this song become one of the biggest songs in the country because they could, not because it was such a great song. One's in the chat if
Time
that
to
makes
renegotiate
sense.
his contract, he wouldn't be the superstar he once was, and therefore wouldn't be able to demand the amount of money and rates he typically would have been able to get. The lawsuit says that the rise of streaming platforms has given established artists more leverage and power in their negotiations. So Drake, for example, has been making music for a while. His success is well documented. He has hit songs. And so renewing a contract with him theoretically isn't much of a risk for a company like UMG. He's a pretty solid bet with a track record to prove it. So for that reason, established artists who knows what they bring to the table, has the numbers to back it up, and can understand how much a company can stand to make off of them, can demand a higher rate when they're negotiating a deal. Unless brand, reputation, and popularity of that established artist is all of a sudden tarnished or damaged. Now that artist isn't able to demand that high rate that they once were able to, and now the company has more leverage when negotiating their contract and can maybe get that artist to sign at a discounted rate. So that's what Drake and his team are saying happened here. They say UMG was motivated to make Not Like Us a hit because it devalued Drake's music and his brand, which would allow them to renew his contract at a price that's more favorable to them.
And at that and that and I feel like when people are going against their contract, I, um I'm gonna play this video again. I'm gonna look for this video of who was it? Damn, who was it? LL Cool J. LL Cool J was on the Joe Budden podcast, and Joe Budden is the king of let me sign this contract and not honor it for whatever reason. Like Joe Budden never honors contracts. So Joe Budden is talking to LL Cool J, and mind you, LL Cool J have put out close to 20 albums under contract for Def Jam, still under contract for Def Jam. Uh, Joe Budden asks LL Cool J, like, how are you still putting up with these contracts and da 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 da? Like, why are you bucking against the system, fighting against the system? LL Cool J Was like, yeah, I used to get mad. And then I just sat there and I thought about it. And I thought, I signed the contract. So since I signed the contract, I got to honor everything that's in that contract that I signed. Meaning that if I offer you a contract, I'm trying to bind you and make you smaller because that's what a contract is. It is something to contract you. If I had some type of substance and I wanted to contract it, I'm making it smaller. Nobody ever gave you an expand, right? Hey, sign this expansion. Imagine the NBA say, we got a contraction team. What's a contraction team? Yeah, we getting rid of it. Oh, that means that the team not even going to be able to play or make no money. Yeah, they never call it that. What do they call it? They call it an expansion team. It means that another team is going to be added to the league and they're going to be able to play. So when Drake is like, well, y'all are devaluing me and making it hard for me to gain leverage when I sign my contract, that's what they're supposed to do. Somebody like Drake needs to be independent. Somebody like Drake needs to sell 10K when he drops a project. So we can understand what the standard is to be an independent artist. Because we don't know how good our art is when the music labels can make Not Like Us the number one played song on country music stations. Man, that Kendrick Lamar sure is a great artist.
Now, on to reason number two, and this one has to do with Kendrick Lamar's contract. The lawsuit says that Kendrick was also signed to UMG, but he only signed a short term deal that started in 2023 and ended in 2024. And while they wanted Kendrick to sign a longer deal, he only agreed to a short term deal so that he could see if UMG was actually valuable to him and if they could promote his music more effectively than any other music company. But the problem, according to the lawsuit, is a short term deal meant that UMG only had a short period of time to prove their worth to Kendrick. And the lawsuit claims UMG used the song Not Like Us to do it. It says UMG chose to publish and promote this song knowing it contained defamatory material against Drake.
That's a deep level. So they're trying to court Kendrick. Like they're UMG, Lucian Grange is telling these artists, look, man, if you want to be the number one artist, sign to us because we make it so. Now think about the most talented artist that's not signed to a contract. You would look at his numbers or his YouTube views and be like, man, he done fell off. People don't like his music no more. Then you look at somebody like Kendrick Lamar and you really think like, okay, because when Kendrick Lamar said, I'm with the culture feeling, I don't think he was talking about me and you, family. I'm thinking when Kendrick Lamar said, I'm with the culture feeling, he was talking about Lucian Grange, Elliot Grange, Lear Cohen, people like that. Record label execs. That's the culture. They push the culture forward, not the people. So Kendrick Lamar signed a deal with the devil just to take out the devil. And now when I hear it's a song on the CD where he's talking about how he is Lucifer. I think it's the song Reincarnated. It makes a lot of sense now to me. I'm just about to pull up the lyrics and see because it's one part where he's talking about. It's towards the end. He says, I rewrote the devil's story just to take our power back. So it's like he became a devil to knock out another devil. And my question is Drake the devil? Or is that just the narrative that we've been fed? Maybe he is. Maybe he is the worst thing that ever happened to music. But I'm looking at it from a place where these record companies determine who's the star and who's not the star. So, and I'm also looking at it like maybe Drake is a star because the record labels made him a star the same way as they made Not Like Us the number one song in the whole country, even though it probably wasn't the number one song in the whole country. That to me is just diabolical. That to me it ruins the whole integrity of music as an art form. To me, y'all putting people that y'all want in front of us, and the people that we need to hear, how we gonna find them? How you gonna find Alex Isley if you just don't know? How you gonna find Umi if you just don't know? How you gonna find Aman Omari if you just don't know? And some people like, I don't know who that is.
all in an effort to show
Crazy.
Kendrick how valuable they could be to him and get him to sign a longer term deal with them. And the lawsuit says that that longer term deal was signed in December of 2024. And now the final reason listed in the lawsuit as to why Drake is suing UMG is again because of money. But this time it's a little more direct. The lawsuit says that UMG has a division based bonus structure that allows division executives to benefit from their artists regardless if it affects another UMG division's artist. Follow me. So UMG is a parent company, and under it there are labels or divisions like Interscope and Republic. So if an artist that's signed to Interscope, like Kendrick is, has a wildly successful song or album, executives at Interscope may get bonuses or other benefits to reflect the success of that artist and their music. And it doesn't matter if that success is at the expense of another UMG division's artist like Republic, where Drake is signed. So here Drake is
And you know what she just laid out? She laid out drill rap. She laid out Biggie versus Tupac. And what these musical artists, so if all of the artists are under UMG, but all of the artists is beefing, the executives are getting money because I guess in their brain, nobody, and we look at the numbers, right? It's artists like drill rappers, they'll make a song just about, some cool vibes, you know what I mean? Get 2,000 views. But then he make a song about dissing the op and he get a million views. A million views. Easy. So what you going to do? You going to make a song and get 2,000 views? Or you going to make a song that get a million views? So the kids is incentivized by the system to make diss songs and beef songs because UMG has incentivized the executives of their subsidiaries, Atlantic, Interscope, all of these labels with King Von signed to it and NBA YoungBoy. King Von is from Chicago. NBA YoungBoy is from Baton Rouge. The fact that they beefing, they shouldn't even be. But you understand why they're beefing because they're signed to labels, they're signed to a contract, and the beef is going to stimulate the economy.
alleging that John Janet,
Powerful
who is the
stuff, man.
CEO of Interscope, was motivated to make Not Like Us a success, regardless of the defamatory allegations, because he himself was directly rewarded as well. It also notes that John Janet and the CEO of Republic, Monty Littman, are both being considered to replace Lucien Grange, who is the CEO of UMG, the parent company. Some other things worth noting from the lawsuit is that Drake and his team point out UMG and Lucien Grange should specifically know the harm and seriousness of publicizing defamatory claims because they were recently listed as defendants in one of the lawsuits against Diddy. In that Diddy lawsuit, UMG and Lucien Grange were accused.
Hold up. What would you do? See, this boy Drake, man. This boy Drake shrewd in the mud. He said, wait a second. Let me run that back.
Is again
Boy, Drake ain't
because of
even
money.
playing
But
fair.
this time, it's a little more direct. The lawsuit says that UMG has a division-based bonus structure that allows division executives to benefit from their artists regardless if it affects another UMG division's artist. Follow me. So UMG is a parent company, and under it there are labels or divisions like Interscope and Republic. So if an artist that's signed to Interscope, like Kendrick is, has a wildly successful song or album, executives at Interscope may get bonuses or other benefits to reflect the success of that artist and their music. And it doesn't matter if that success is at the expense of another UMG division's artist like Republic, where Drake is signed. So here, Drake is alleging that John Janik, who is the CEO of Interscope, was motivated to make Not Like Us a success, regardless of the defamatory allegations, because he himself was directly rewarded as well. It also notes that John Janik and the CEO of Republic, Monty Littman, are both being considered to replace Lucien Grange, who is the CEO of UMG, the parent company. Some other things worth noting from the lawsuit is that Drake and his team point out UMG and Lucien Grange should specifically know the harm and seriousness of publicizing defamatory claims because they were recently listed as defendants in one of the lawsuits against Diddy. In that Diddy lawsuit, UMG and Lucien Grange were accused of aiding and abetting Diddy while he committed heinous and widespread acts of violence against minors. Lucien and UMG's legal team immediately filed a motion to have the case dismissed against them and argued that the accusations were offensively false, and if they were not in a court document, they would be considered defamation. Lucien specifically said that the allegations against him in the lawsuit were knowingly and maliciously false and defamatory, and that, quote, a single lie can destroy a reputation of integrity, and while it takes years to build a reputation, it can be ruined in 5 minutes. So again, Drake's point here is that even though they just had to fight off their own allegations, that still wasn't enough to stop them from releasing, promoting, and re-promoting a song that had similar allegations about one of their own artists. And
It's a dirty game. It's dirty where this goes into shadow work. When you don't do it, you experience something like it's like that saying, hurt people, right? And you don't know who you actually dealing with because you ain't really in their emotional field, in their mental space. So here it is. They fighting off allegations and they gonna allow another person to have an allegation. And the thing about Not Like Us, the record company could have said, "Oh no, we can't put this song out." And instead of them saying that, they said, "No, we about to push this." Look at the ways that they push this album. Watch it. And she gonna finish. She gonna explain just how OD they were with pushing Not Like Us, just so they could have more leverage. Because regardless of to the facts, Drake signed the contract and he has to deal with the fact that people not really messing with him. When he put out a song, it's either getting took off streaming or it's not getting. He has some songs that could have been hits this summer. He had the song with Lotto, would have went. People like that song in Atlanta. People really like that song, but it didn't get the push. It didn't get a video. So now it's like, yeah, we about to sign you for a bag of Skittles at this point. You ain't really hot no more, Drake. Kendrick Lamar killed you in the streets. But then look what the label did to make sure that people
when
wasn't
Drake
fucking with
confronted
Drake.
UMG about all of this, they refused to do anything about it. In fact, the lawsuit says that UMG told Drake that if he sued them, they would just in turn sue Kendrick Lamar and imply that then Drake would be made fun of for looking like he sued another rapper over a rap battle. All right, so I won't go into all of the details about how many times the song was played. Here it says billions. Or how it was played at national events like the DNC, NBA games, MLB games, WNBA games, or how it is surely going to be played at the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show that Kendrick Lamar will be headlining. I also won't talk about how Drake claims that UMG used its ownership stake in Complex and Vivo to also promote and boost the song. But I will say that Drake has 3 causes of action for this lawsuit. He is officially suing UMG for defamation, which goes to UMG, according to Drake, knowingly and maliciously publishing defamatory statements about him, all of which negatively impact his personal and professional reputation and directly impacts him financially. The second cause of action is harassment, because according to Drake, the song made a call for violence against him, and even when that violence started to happen, which is a reference to the shooting and break-ins that happened at his house, that still wasn't enough to stop UMG from promoting the song. And then the third cause of action is for violating the New York General Business Law, which has to do with Drake's claim that UMG paid people to promote and play the song, misleading the public to believe that it was more popular than it actually was. Oh, and Kai Cenat and some other YouTubers were mentioned in the lawsuit, but that just had to do with the claim that UMG was doing everything they could to promote Not Like Us, including whitelisting the song or like removing the copyright from it on YouTube so that streamers could play the songs on their videos and still get monetized. All right, so now that you have that context, tell me what you think. Does Drake have a point, or is he still just mad he lost the battle?
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.